We will go out and find the conspirators, not just in government, but in the media. Yes, we're going to come after the people in the media who lied about American citizens, who helped Joe Biden rig presidential elections. We're going to come after you, whether it's criminally or civilly, we'll figure that out. But yeah, we're putting you all on notice. And Steve, this is why they hate us. This is why we're tyrannical. This is why we're dictators, because we're actually going to use the Constitution to prosecute them for crimes they said we have always been guilty of, but never have.
That man, Kash Patel, has just been confirmed as FBI director for the Trump administration. The clip you just heard dates back to 2023, but nonetheless, he has been confirmed and he is as loyal to Donald Trump as you can imagine, has an enemies list, which he published in his own book. And this vote was 51-49 to confirm him. Republicans Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski joined all of the Democrats in voting against the confirmation for Patel. Now, Patel has attracted plenty of controversy for statements like what you just heard in that clip, but he has also worked in Donald Trump's first term. He was the senior advisor to acting director of national intelligence and chief of staff to acting US Secretary of Defense. Again, this was all during Donald Trump's first term. Now, here's what his colleagues thought of him. Even in an administration full of loyalists, Patel was exceptional in his devotion. This was what seemed to disturb many of his colleagues the most. Patel was dangerous, several of them told me, not because of a certain plan he would be poised to carry out if given control of the CIA or FBI, but because he appeared to have no plan at all. His priorities today always subject to a mercurial president's wishes tomorrow. He's also called to shut down the FBI's DC offices, which is a bit symbolic or mostly symbolic in nature, and compiled a list of executive branch deep state members in one of his books, which he has referred to as his enemies list. Cenk.
Yeah, so we got a poll here that, again, I'm very curious what you guys think of it. Will Kash Patel target those on his enemies list? So it's in the live chat on YouTube. Shows live 6 to 8 o'clock every day, Monday through Friday. And we like you guys participating in it. So this one, I'm not sure, but likely. So let me explain. Sometimes Trump will say outlandish things to get attention or as a way of A/B testing a preposterous idea and see if, like a trial balloon, hey, are people into it? I'm the king. You guys like it? Like it? Like it? No, you don't like it? I'm just trolling. Oh, you do like it? Then I will, right? So there's, and like, is he going to take Greenland? Is he going to invade Canada? I've said to you, no, I don't think there's any chance he's going to do that, because if even his own base, I know people will say no, his own base will love it, etc. But I don't think so. I think that they are actually anti-war, and they love when he trolls about it. They love that, oh yeah, we're a big mighty thing. But if you send troops into Ottawa, no one's gonna like that. That's an absolute epic disaster, and they know that. So that's to get attention. Enemies list, I think, is real. And I think Trump was a guy who is very thin-skinned, who hates anyone who's ever criticized him, attacked him, etc., unless they turn around and kiss his ass, right? And so Kash Patel has no bounds. This I'm sure of. Whatever Trump orders him to do, he will do. That is his whole point of existence. That is why he was nominated. That's why he's the head of the FBI now. So if Trump gives him an illegal order, I am positive Kash Patel will follow it.
So let me give you a little more insight on what he said in his book, what he, why he has this enemies list to begin with. So the book calls for a comprehensive house cleaning of the Justice Department and an eradication of government tyranny within the FBI by firing the top ranks and prosecuting to the fullest extent of the law anyone who in any way abused their authority for political ends. And by the way, if you're curious who's included on that enemies list, you have the entire fake news mafia press corps. He also lists Adam Schiff, Paul Ryan, Bill Barr, Cassidy Hutchinson, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Hillary Clinton, and others. Bipartisan list, he's not picking one side or the other here, Cenk.
You know what the funny thing is, Anna? Yeah. I hate almost everyone on that list.
Same, yeah.
Because that's the heart of the uniparty, and Bill Barr is a monstrous right winger who which I can't believe he had a boundary, but his boundary was apparently doing a coup against America. And they're like, how dare you, not enough, right? Etc. But as much as I loathe the people on Kash Patel's enemies list, would I arrest them? What kind of un-American person even contemplates that? No, because somebody disagrees with you don't get to arrest them. That's mental. And look, guys, I don't use that term lightly. It is literally un-American. In America, we have freedom of speech, freedom of the press. We have political freedom. We're allowed to say what we want, including against the benighted, amazing new king, Donald Trump. Yes, you are allowed to criticize him, even if you're in media and politics, and not get arrested. And if you do, that is certainly not for freedom, and that is certainly cancel culture.
So here's my question, because I am curious. Like, look, do I think that Kash Patel and with the guidance of Donald Trump is going to pursue retaliatory measures against Trump's enemies? I do. Like, if I had to make a prediction or make a bet right now, I would take that bet. The question is, how would he do it, right? Like, so he's saying that he's going to prosecute these individuals. Well, then the judicial system would have to play along with him.
Yeah, well, so here's the problem, right?
Yeah.
So as we know from being outsiders, what the mainstream media and the establishment have used in the past is what they're going to partly weaponize. So what do I mean by that? So they'll go for looking for needles in a haystack. So Elliot Spitzer's the sheriff of Wall Street. Well, let's see if we can catch him in a sex scandal. And so then we'll say, oh, that's the whole haystack is the sex scandal, right? So if they're gonna go after Bill Barr or Liz Cheney or whoever it is, right? What they'll do is they'll start digging. Now, where might they dig? They might dig at the IRS to see if they had any issues with their taxes. Oh, right. Elon Musk is demanding the private information of everyone at the IRS. And then voila, then you dig through that haystack and see if you could find a needle. Oh, look at that, wrong classification back in 2016, whatever it is.
But just to be clear, there would need to be evidence of wrongdoing.
Oh yeah, I mean
it's politically motivated, I totally get that. But I mean, I can see why someone like Hillary Clinton might be worried, right?
No,
I don't think you need to search a massive haystack to find that needle with someone like Hillary Clinton.
No, see, that's the look. I haven't heard of Hillary Clinton. I've heard of Hillary Clinton doing 10,000 unethical things, and I think she totally works for the donors. And I think she's corrupt in that sense. And I get it, guys. They go into office broke, they come out with $150 million. But the $150 million, they didn't get through knuckleheaded bribes like, oh, here, have money. Oh, Twitter owes you $10 million. Wink, Elon Musk gives Donald Trump a $10 million check. That actually looks way more like very direct corruption. Whereas what they would do is they'd write a book, they'd get speeches to the bankers, and then, hey, look at that, they agree with the bankers when the bills come around, right? So that's totally corruption, but as it stands, not illegal, right? So if you could prove, okay, when she deleted the emails, that was illegal. Well, that is similar to some of the stuff Trump did. Trump had way more classified documents, was way more obstinate, etc. Okay, but we're in the ballgame. But like, if they said to me, hey, should we go looking for something to pin on Donald Trump? I would have said, hell no, even though that guy has lived an enormous life of criminality. But if he says, here's the boxes of top secret documents and I will not hand them over, well, then you don't have a choice. What are you gonna do? Just leave them in a Mar-a-Lago bathroom?
Right, yeah,
right?
No,
but Hillary Clinton hasn't, to our knowledge, done anything like that. Bill Barr loathes him, but to our knowledge hasn't done anything like that.
I know, to our knowledge.
But that's the thing though, he's at the FBI. Because they're not prosecutors, they're investigators, right? So when you weaponize the investigators, what you say to them is, I don't care if you already have evidence of a crime. I care that you target this person and go find me evidence of a crime.
Yeah.
That's deeply problematic.
No, I do find that deeply problematic. And while I do not agree with this notion, the thought process among Trump supporters is that this is the method that Democrats used against Donald Trump. And look, the reason why I disagree with that is because he committed crimes out in the open. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the classified documents, again, the federal government asked him repeatedly, can you just please return the classified documents? He refused to do it, then he returned some of them. and lied and said that he returned all of them. That led to the FBI raid. So that's a classified documents case. And then obviously we know what happened with the fake electors case and the January 6th riots that were part of that. But look, nonetheless, there are 5,000 FBI officials who have been named, and those names have been given to the Trump administration. These are FBI officials who apparently worked on the January 6th cases. And those names were sent to the Trump Justice Department. And so they're probably gonna get fired if I had to bet on that, but we don't know yet. We're gonna see what Kash Patel does. Now, in his confirmation hearing, Patel promised that no FBI employee will be subject to political retribution. But as we know, these Senate hearings for confirmations mean nothing, okay? The nominees are gonna say everything that the lawmakers wanna hear them say. Nonetheless, Trump, meanwhile, has vowed to fire some FBI employees who worked on the January 6th investigations and alleged without evidence that they are corrupt. So there you have it. As FBI director, Patel's term will last 10 years.
Yeah, so when he gets rid of Chris Wray, who he himself appointed, Trump did, he's saying, I don't like that you investigated me. So even though you're supposed to have a 10-year term and I'm the guy who picked you, so since you did your job in a way that, in my opinion, was without fear or favor. Remember, he also targeted Menendez, who's a Democratic senator, Cuellar down in Texas, Democratic representative, Eric Adams, Democratic mayor. And as a Democrat, did I want him to target those people? Yes, because it looks like they had actually committed the crimes. Menendez has now been convicted. When it's a criminal that happens to be kind of on our side, I have no interest in them. I have no interest in defending them. I have an interest in sending them to prison, right? Because we care about principles and we care about what's right. But when you say, hey, you're going after all these corrupt people, including me, and you're trying to prosecute me for obvious brazen crimes, that I'm gonna get rid of you, that is not what the American government is supposed to do. Guys, once you weaponize it like that, I know, we've been over it a billion times. Republicans are absolutely convinced that the Democrats weaponized against Trump. But even if you think that is correct, do you think it's the right thing to do it back to them? Please tell me that you don't think that. Because look, if you said to me, like I believe in principles, I believe in the Constitution. Hey, Hillary Clinton's people weaponized the Justice Department against Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders won the presidency. Should we go and find different rando crimes against Hillary Clinton staffers? Should we weaponize the Justice Department to target them on unrelated matters? I would say, hell no, because then you're just as bad as Hillary Clinton. Why would you do that? Why would you degrade yourself and say, look at how terrible they are and watch me, I'm gonna do worse? Okay, I mean, you could say revenge, but that's not principles, that's not the US Constitution, that's not the American system. In the American system, the FBI first finds the crime, then finds the person who did it. You don't find the person you wanna target and then try to find a crime. If you enjoyed this video, that's because of our members. They make us independent, they make us strong, and they make us honest. Become a member today by hitting the join button below.